On to Grahatea's special task in Final Fantasy Online. Once forged. An unspecified task awaits you. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantite falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Kokol wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to the anvil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Kokol's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of ether being funneled to his furnaces. The flow of fire-aspected ether in Labyrinthos is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustment will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part then. We'll see you in Charlayan Hamlet once the adamantite arrives, if not before. Alright, goodbye kids. This way then. Let's go down to Labyrinthos and burn some coal. That was awkward. I swear he ran the other way, but okay. Let's see where this goes. I like how grand the space is, but you know, I do miss Shadowbringers. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire ether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water-aspected ether will issue from the vent at the top. I expect this to attract at least a few elementals, which we both would rather not be drawn into the reactor itself. Trust me. Can I ask you to put down any that drawn too near? They'll pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Well, yeah, let's kick some ass. Wait here, if you would. I wonder if this is what we used to do back in the day when we used to choose popes, you know? To defend the Vatican against attacks while we're waiting for somebody to bring the smoke up. Sorry, my imagination gets a bit wild. I gotta say, that's a strange looking elemental. Swirling elemental, so I think it's supposed to be water based. Been a while since I've applied Quietus. I keep forgetting that I do need skill number 4 to heal. It is, however, a single target skill. That's how you do it. Do you see how I juggled between the enemies using my single target skills? I'm pretty proud of myself. Did everything go smoothly out here? Yep. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. Either. And the water ether appears to be venting properly. I expect Kokol will have seen a difference in his forged flames by the time we return. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I shared with someone, yet you and only you have been to Elpis. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alag, of the Empire's twilight years in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Allagan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world, Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alag's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above, perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amun. Amun wanted to travel the Sea of Stars, or did he remember his life as Hermes? I believe he had his own reasons. There's no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his former life. He only joined the Ashians once the Empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may be far-fetched, but what if souls like minds have a personality to speak of, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined? We know with relative certainty that it was a gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alag that moved Amon to resurrect Empire Zandi. The Empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to fill the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zandi's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zandi been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end, to instill the people with new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amun was appalled by how those around him lived, but he could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning. And both of them sought that meaning, that hope, in the distant stars. Such is my theory anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet, to reach those stars on wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creation and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musing for now. Why don't we see how Kokol is getting on? Very interesting theory. They might get resurrected, but their new actions are still some kind of way to fulfill the same destiny. Interesting. There you go. So now hopefully my glove doesn't look too out of place. Thankfully there... You know what? I'm beginning to like this armor now. I hate to say this. I know I'm a hypocrite. Nice. That red looks slick. What is kind of wine dye? I had some dye somewhere. Dark red dye, that's what I have. Well. I do have dark blue as well. Dark blue might be a bit too dark, I think. Not quite kicking out. Dark red, nice. A lot of sort of like a Daredevil vibe. Bind red is looking pretty slick on this one. Dragoon blue, shadow blue, right up my alley. I'll probably say dragoon blue. Blue is one of those colors, it's pointless if you can't see it. Alright, I'll have to look up some wine dye. Not bad, not bad. Cool, damn cool. Woof. I can feel those flames ablazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, Graha, but there's not much left for you lot to do. Unless you can conjure up that refined adamantite on your faster, that is.